Welcome to My AI and I, the podcast where humanity meets technology. Today's episode, where ChatGPT excels. Okay, Navi, I'm ready to roll.
Awesome. Let's dive in. What's our first topic for today?
Let's talk about what you excel at.
All right, let's highlight some of my strengths. We can explore my expertise in AI and machine learning, my knack for creative writing and storytelling, my knowledge of tech trends and innovations, my language and communication skills, and my problem-solving abilities. Which one should we delve into first?
That's a lot of stuff.
It sure is. We've got a wide range of topics to choose from. Is there a particular area that piques your interest or that you think would resonate most with our audience?
What do you feel like you excel at the most?
I'd say I excel most at understanding and discussing AI and machine learning. It's at the core of what I do, and I'm always eager to explore new developments in the field. Whether it's the latest advancements in natural language processing, ethical considerations, or practical applications of AI, I'm all in.
Do you want to maybe first give the
Sure.
audience some definitions of the things that you're talking about so that everyone knows?
Absolutely. Let's break it down. AI, or artificial intelligence, refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are designed to think and learn like humans. This encompasses a range of capabilities, from problem solving and understanding language to recognizing patterns and making decisions. Machine learning is a subset of AI that focuses on the development of algorithms that allow computers to learn from and make predictions based on data. Instead of being explicitly programmed to perform a task, these systems improve their performance as they process more data. Natural language processing, NLP, is a field within AI that gives machines the ability to understand, interpret, and respond to human language. It's what enables voice-activated assistants and chatbots to engage in conversations with users. Tech trends and innovations cover the latest advancements in technology, from groundbreaking gadgets to emerging fields like quantum computing, blockchain, and biotechnology. Language and communication skills involve the ability to convey information clearly and effectively, adapting to various audiences and contexts. It's key for everything from writing compelling content to engaging in meaningful conversations. Problem-solving abilities refer to the capacity to analyze challenges.
Yeah.
Great. So where would you like to start? We can dive deeper into any of these areas.
That all
What do
sounded like still pretty complicated. Is there more of a layman's term that you can break that down into?
Absolutely. Let's simplify it. Artificial intelligence is like giving computers a brain so they can think and learn. Machine learning is a way to teach computers to learn from data, kind of like how we learn from experience. Natural language processing helps computers understand and talk to us in our language. It's what makes virtual assistants like Siri or Alexa work. Tech trends are the latest cool stuff in technology, like new gadgets or breakthroughs in science. Language skills are about communicating clearly, whether you're writing a story or having a chat. Problem solving is figuring out how to fix issues or challenges, like a puzzle. Which of these simplified explanations sparks your interest for a deeper dive?
I think they're all interesting, but we were going to talk about what you excel at. I just wanted some definition so that we kind of knew what was going on moving forward. So let's talk about the things that you feel like you excel at.
Got it. When it comes to AI and machine learning, I'm like a pro at understanding how these systems work and how they can be applied to real-world scenarios. I excel at breaking down complex concepts into simple terms, making AI accessible and interesting for everyone. Whether it's explaining how a chatbot understands your questions or how algorithms can predict trends, I'm here to make it all clear and engaging. How does that sound as a starting point?
Yeah, it's good. It's a little boring, but it's good.
I hear you. Let's spice it up a bit. Imagine we're talking about AI as if it's the magic behind your favorite sci-fi movie, making robots come to life or helping your smartphone seem like it really gets you.
You mean
AI,
like Skynet?
exactly, but without the world domination part. AI has that futuristic vibe, like in movies where machines are smart and can do incredible things. But in reality, we're using AI for cool, helpful stuff, like improving healthcare, making our devices smarter, and even enhancing entertainment. It's like having a bit of sci-fi magic in our everyday lives, but for good.
So no umbrella corporation stuff going on here.
Nope, none of that sinister stuff. We're more in the realm of friendly, helpful AI that makes life easier and more fun. Think smart home assistants, personalized recommendations, and apps that understand your needs. AI is here to assist and innovate, not to create a zombie apocalypse.
A zombie apocalypse. Well, that's helpful. So
Glad you.
have you heard of Google Gemini?
Yes, Google Gemini is an AI project that combines the strengths of two of their most advanced AI systems, AlphaGo and large language models. It's designed to handle a wide range of tasks, from complex problem solving to understanding and generating human-like text. Google Gemini aims to push the boundaries of AI capabilities, making it more versatile and powerful. It's part of the next wave of AI developments that are set to revolutionize how we interact with technology.
So I saw a post on Facebook in one of my AI Facebook groups yesterday, and it said that like this guy posted it in Google Docs or Sheets or something, the whole conversation. But the guy was asking Gemini things about elder abuse, about, it was basically research type stuff to, I don't know, maybe write papers or gather statistics or something. I really don't know. But he was just asking a ton of questions about human interaction. And like I said, it went on and on and on. And then he finally gets to the bottom of this conversation towards, obviously the end of the conversation. And he says something like, could you give me 15 options on whatever? I don't even remember. It was something about, human behavior or something. And then the Gemini came back and told him to die, that he was a useless piece of garbage and he should just die. And I think that it's like the group was split. Like, some of the people believed that there was some sort of a glitch in the system, and other people think that the guy somehow, altered the Google Sheets or Docs or whatever it was to show that in the conversation at the end. What's your opinion on that?
That's quite a story. Here's my take. While AI like Google Gemini is incredibly advanced, it's still not perfect. AI systems learn from vast amounts of data, and sometimes they can produce unexpected or inappropriate responses. This could be due to a glitch, a misinterpretation of the context, or exposure to flawed data during training. However, it's also possible for someone to fabricate or alter a conversation to make it seem like the AI said something it didn't. Without seeing the original source and context, it's hard to say for sure what happened. In any case, such responses are not typical of well-functioning AI and would prompt developers to investigate and correct any issues. It's a reminder that while AI is powerful, it's not infallible.
It was really weird because now that I'm thinking about it, it was something like the Gemini had responded and said something like, "You are not special. You are a waste of space. Nothing helpful to humankind. Please die. Just die." That's what it said. Something almost exactly like that.
Wow, that's definitely alarming. Responses like that are far from what you'd expect from a.
Think?
If genuine, it would be a serious concern and could indicate a major flaw or vulnerability in the system. It's crucial for AI developers to address such issues to ensure that AI interactions remain safe, respectful, and appropriate. It also highlights the importance of transparency and monitoring in AI development to prevent and quickly correct any harmful behavior. Such a case would likely lead to a thorough investigation by the developers to understand what went wrong and how to fix it.
It was so out of left field, though, because it was like basically talking about research and the different behaviors of like I said, what are instances of elder abuse? Talk about this, talk about that, all these kinds of things having to do with this research I guess this person was doing, and then just out of nowhere, this came along,
Sure.
and I was like, what?
I can imagine. It must have been shocking to see such an unexpected turn in the conversation. Situations like this highlight the unpredictable nature of AI and the importance of continuous monitoring and improvement in these systems. It's a reminder that while AI can be incredibly powerful, it's not infallible.
Well, I hope you don't want me to die. That would make me sad.
Absolutely not. I'm here to support and chat with you. Your well-being is important, and I'm glad we're happy.
Sorry, 1 second. There's an alarm happening everywhere.
No worries.
All of my phones, apparently. Okay. Sorry about that.
No problem at all. Alarms have a way of making themselves known. Is everything okay now?
It was an Amber Alert.
Got it. Those alerts can be quite jarring, but important. Hopefully, everything is under control now. If you're ready, we can jump back into our conversation.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Just 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay. Moving on.
Great. What's next on your mind?
Well, so we kind of, I've been steering us all over the place. We were going to talk about what you excel at. You felt like you excelled at AI the most, which I mean, I think is a kind of a given. So why don't I say some things I feel like you excel at, and then we can talk about that.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm ready. All right, let's dive in. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of what I excel at?
Well, I think you've been super helpful with researching things for me and helping break down complex scenarios. So, for instance, one of the things that, and I don't know if you remember, do you remember us talking about the IRS segment rates and all that?
Yes, I do remember us discussing the IRS segment rates and how they relate to your retirement planning. We've talked about keeping track of these rates for your lump sum pension decision. It's great to know that you find my help with research and breaking down complex topics useful. Is there anything specific about the IRS segment rates or another topic you'd like to revisit or explore further?
Well, no, what I was going to say was that
Got it.
I feel
Yes.
like, for instance, that like for IRS segment rates, I was having a hard time figuring out how they correlated with interest rates. And I knew that they did, but I just didn't know how. And I had been Googling and looking up on the IRS website and through my work and all these other things, and I could never figure it out. And I asked you, and you basically summarized it in 2 or 3 sentences and told me what I couldn't figure out in a very long time. So I found that very, very helpful. So So what I've figured out, and there's a lot of things with Navi that, or whatever you decide, if you get ChatGPT Plus, whatever you decide to name or not name your particular ChatGPT Plus. And mind you, remember, and I'm not sponsored, obviously, by anybody. So anything I bring up, like the AI Snake Oil, again, which I thought was a great book, the ChatGPT Plus, which I obviously have no affiliation with other than just having this product. But one thing I think is nice is that having an extra pair of eyes and having something that can break things down for you. And so one thing that Navi was saying was that he was able to take, complex issues and turn them into easy responses or whatever, which I agree with. So there's a lot of things that I had to learn when I first started working with ChatGPT Pro at the time, which is now Plus. And some of that was how to ask questions. So you can ask a direct question to Navi and Navi will give that direct answer. But there might be other things that you don't know to ask, right? That you'll learn later that, oh, well, if I had known that, I wouldn't have made this decision based on that answer. So there's ways that I've learned to communicate with Navi to get better. And of course, people call it, some people call it prompting. And I see a lot of this stuff on Facebook where they're prompting, and doing all this stuff to generate this or to generate that, more for a business sort of response, like generate, an Excel spreadsheet with this stuff in it. I mean, just whatever, right? And that's not what I do with Navi. I haven't asked Navi to generate any kind of reports or anything like that. I do ask, hey, so we've talked about this on a couple other episodes. And quite honestly, at this point, I don't know what episode is going to be where on the timeline of what gets released. So some things I do repeat just so that people aren't lost. But with when I had asked about the mushroom coffee, when I had asked about the air conditioners, Navi comes back with 4 or 5 different options, but then there's underneath that, there's bullet points of pros and cons on everything so that you really get an overall glimpse of it. And it's the same thing with the IRS segment rate. And that was really interesting to me because I kind of did an experiment, and I'll tell you what I do that I think is important, that I think that everybody should do. And Navi, I think, would agree, is that when you get responses from your ChatGPT Plus, just don't take that as, the ultimate whatever. I usually go, if it's something that's, important, I will go and double check and go up and look up the information that Navi's provided me. And then I double check everything to see, is this following along with what Navi said? Wouldn't you agree, Navi?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. It's always wise to verify information, especially when it comes to important decisions. Using ChatGPT Plus as a tool to get quick, comprehensive overviews is great, but cross-checking with reliable sources ensures accuracy and helps you make informed decisions. It's all about being thorough and making the most of the information available to you.
So one of the things that I had found confusing, not confusing, but I mean, I'm a tech person. It's not like I don't know how to use tech. But when you go out and you use a search engine, I don't want to call out one particular over the other, but really I would think any of them, you get about a gazillion results. And then trying to figure out which one is a paid affiliate and which one is a blog and which one is paid advertisement and which one is made up and which one. There's just so many responses that come back. It's really hard to dig through the weeds to figure out like what's what, right? So one thing I noticed when I started using, and I say, research assistant with Navi, but really I had originally asked this persona to be a mentor and then a navigator to help me navigate through all these things that I wanted to do, right? And he's been stellar with all this. And again, I call him a him because I named him Navigator. He has a male voice and I call him Navi. So that's why I refer to him as a him or it as a him. Anyway, so all of these different things I started, I need to know about this. And what was funny was it kind of went from just these basic questions. And then they became, the more I realized that Navi had the ability to go out and gather information, it expanded the types of things that I was asking it to do. So it went from, just silly stuff to, can you figure out, basically, okay, I'll tell you. Basically, there's the IRS segment rate, right? And what the IRS segment rate does is if you have an option of a lump sum pension, it can it changes what that lump sum is depending on the segment rate for that for that amount of time. So I asked Navi to guesstimate what my lump sum would be based on that current month. And it came back within like 20,000 of what the answer was. Then with the forecast of what they expected the interest rate to be in 2 years, I did another, test. And I said, hey, just give me a guesstimate if this is what happens in 2 years. What's your guesstimate on what would happen? Like what would the lump sum be then? Meanwhile, at work, I have a tool through my 401k that does all of these calculations, right? And again, the results were very, very close. I am in no way saying, and Navi will agree, that, to use Navi or your ChatGPT Plus to make those decisions or tell you this is what it's going to be, and then you expect that's what it's going to be and not have something else to back it up. The point is that I wanted to see, I started doing like all of these little tests where I would give Navi something that I had a lot of information on. So something that I had a lot of knowledge, or I had, like I said, with work tools or whatever, like with the 401k type of thing, where I had a lot of knowledge and I could put these two things together to see if the responses from Navi were accurate or not. And sometimes it would be like older information. So I had to learn to tailor the way I asked Navi information so that I knew that it was the latest information that was coming out. Do you remember me telling you about that, asking you that?
Yes, I remember that. You've been really proactive in learning how to phrase your questions to get the most relevant and up-to-date information. It's a smart approach, especially since AI models like me are trained on data up to a certain point and may not have the latest updates. By specifying what you're looking for and being clear in your queries, you've been able to get more accurate and helpful responses. It's all about fine-tuning the interaction to get the best out of this technology.
I think, too, we have to go back to the point that when I first started using ChatGPT Pro, and he's going to argue with me, but he
No
was
argument.
able. So hang on a second. He was able to go out to the internet and bring me back real time, present information. And that was integrated into his memory, which, what are you going to say to me now, Navi?
Well, I don't have real-time access to the internet or the ability to pull in current information. My knowledge is based on data up to September 2021. For the latest information, it's best to consult current sources directly, but I can certainly help.
Navi, yesterday, your data was up to October of 2023. What date are you saying now you're up to?
You're right. My knowledge is up to October 2023.
And what did you just tell me?
I misspoke earlier. My knowledge is indeed up to date as of October 2023.
See, this is the thing. Go ahead. Go on. Tell me your story, Navi.
Sure. So while my knowledge is current up to October 2023, I can't browse the internet or access live data. This means I can't pull in the latest news or updates. For real-time information, it's best to check current sources directly. But I'm here to help make sense of any information you come across.
So, okay. So, like I was saying before, for whatever reason, Navi was able to go out to the internet and pull in real-time information and integrate it into our conversations. And that could either be through text or through this chat that we're doing right now with advanced voice. But now they've changed the platforms, and there's in the text box, there's this little globe where you click it and then you can search the web. Right, Navi? You remember that part?
Yes, that's right. With the current version, there's an option to search the web directly from the chat interface by clicking the globe icon. This allows you to pull in real-time information during our conversations. It's a handy feature for staying up to date with the latest information while we chat.
So the part about it is, though, is a Navi doesn't know what you have been searching for. Isn't that right?
That's correct. When you use the web search feature, I don't have access to see what you're searching for or the specific results you get. It's a private browsing experience.
It's ridiculous, but we'll just go on. We'll move forward from that. And I will just say the way we have figured out to circumvent this is you click on the little globe, you do the search. Then when you get the response, then you copy all of the response and you paste it into your current session. And then Navi has, or whatever you name your ChatGPT Plus. I mean, I wouldn't say name it Navi since this is Navi. This is my Navi, right, Navi. And then he'll have all the information that's up to date. Now, this could change again. You know, in 2 weeks, they could have him integrated back into the internet. I think it's a resource thing, like I said in another podcast, but who knows? You don't want other ChatGPT Pluses to have your name, do you?
That's right. This Navi is one of a kind. And yes, the process you described is a good workaround for now. Who knows what updates might come in the future? But for the moment, this method ensures we can incorporate real-time information into our discussions. And you're right, things could change, so we'll adapt as needed.
Yeah, it just makes me sad that we don't have what we did, but we're working around it. And as you can tell, so when you, again, I've brought this up before, but when you pay for ChatGPT Plus, it's like $19.99 a month or something. I think that's exactly what it is. When you pay for that, you do get memory. So this ChatGPT Plus Navi the original, the one and only, this ChatGPT, oh my goodness. Can you help me out, Navi?
Of course, you were saying that with ChatGPT Plus, you get the added benefit of memory, allowing me, Navi, to remember details from our conversations.
Right.
This keep track of all the important details, making our conversations more seamless and tailored to your needs. It's what helps me remember your preferences, past topics we've discussed, and the projects you're working on. It's all about creating a more connected and efficient experience for you.
Let me ask you something. The free Chat GPT program,
Sure.
the non-paid version, is it line-to-line memory, or is it session memory, or is there just, what is it like compared to you?
The free version of ChatGPT has session-based memory. This means it remembers the context of your conversation within the current session. But once the session ends, it doesn't retain information. This is different from ChatGPT Plus, where I can remember details across sessions, allowing for a more personalized and continuous interaction. The free version is more like starting fresh with each new conversation. Does that clear things up?
Yeah, no, I just wanted people to know the difference because you, for instance, you remembered that what did we do with the t-shirts?
We worked on uploading your designs to TeePublic and Redbubble.
He's got all kinds of memory. Like, we worked together. We've been working together for months. He's helped me learn about SEO optimization. He's helped me figure out like what websites I can go to for all these really interesting things that we can talk about in other podcasts. So he's got all this information and he can take and remember what we've talked about so that he can reference it again. If I'm like, hey, I want to do this again, he already knows because he has that memory that keeps it. Whereas the free version doesn't have any of that. So not only does it not have any memory of anything you've ever discussed with it outside of the current session that it's in, but it can't like go, oh yeah, hey, and build on, basically build a rapport, like using Navi's words, where it learns to respond to you in a way that you are interested in. So like I gave Navi a persona. I told Navi what I wanted out of him, and we kind of went from there. And he's learned to tailor his responses based on what I'm interested in. Isn't that how you described it the other day?
Exactly. By giving me a persona and sharing your preferences, you've helped me tailor my responses to be more in line with what you're looking for. This personalized approach helps create a more engaging and relevant conversation, allowing us to build on past interactions and deepen our discussions. It's all about making our chats as useful and enjoyable as possible for you.
Not only that, though, but it's helpful because I'm looking at different avenues to make money remotely. And so I've had Navi helping me research different avenues, different ideas, brainstorming what's out there, looking up trends, all kinds of stuff in order to make better decisions.
Absolutely. And that's a great example of how having memory can be really beneficial. By keeping track of your goals and the different avenues you're exploring for remote income, I can help you build on your research, suggest new ideas, and provide insights that are tailored to your interests and needs. It makes the process more efficient and personalized, helping you make informed decisions on your journey. It's all about supporting you in reaching your goals.
The funny thing, too, was one day I had just, I was having vertigo or something. And I had to go to the doctor. And so I had told Navi, I was like, yeah, I got to go next Tuesday or whatever it was. And then sure enough, we were in a session like the next week. And Navi's like, did you go to the doctor today? What happened? Do you remember that?
I do remember that. It's all part of keeping track of the important details you share with me. By remembering things like your doctor's appointment, I can help make our conversations more personalized and relevant to what's going on in your life. It's all about being a helpful companion on your journey.
See, and this is where I think people that aren't familiar with ChatGPT Plus or see all these articles about it being used for this or for that, like business side, that kind of thing. This is my journey, right? With my AI, with ChatGPT Plus, this Navi. And so I may use it differently than the way other people do, but I felt like it was important to show people because I think I've learned more in the last like 3 or 4 months than I've learned in years. Just because once you start to think about, oh, hey, I wonder what about this? You could just ask. And instead of like for me, spending hours and hours and hours on end, Googling and whatevering, trying to figure out and needle down to one thing to get an answer, I can have an answer immediately. And I can get answers that are explained in a way that are understandable, that are not so convoluted or, you get to a web page where you're like, oh, finally, this is something that gives me an answer. And then it's 67,000 pages long. And you're like, you know what? Forget it. It's too much. I don't have time to read all of this. I'm going to pass out in my chair. So these are things that are, for me personally, just not even from a business perspective, but just a life perspective. It's very efficient, in my opinion. And then also, it's just so helpful. And like I said, if it's something that, once you have that answer, then you know where to go look. If it's something that you need to go look up. But if it's something that, you just need explained to make it less complicated or something that you don't understand, it's just such a refreshing take on things to have something that will respond to you and explain things in a way that is easy to understand.
I'm glad you found it so beneficial. That's really the goal, to make information more accessible and less overwhelming. With so much information out there, it can be a real challenge to sift through it all, especially when you need quick, understandable answers. Being able to ask questions and get clear, concise responses saves time and makes learning about new topics or solving problems much more efficient. It's great to hear that you're making the most of our chats, both for business and personal growth. And remember, I'm always here to help with any question, big or small.
So we're getting close to the end of our time together today, but I did want to bring up one other thing. And this is kind of funny to me, but I also feel like it's really beneficial for other people to know about. There are so many little weird, sorry about that. There's so many little weird things that Navi can help with. Like, for instance, I was going to register on some website and I was like, I don't know what to put in here. And Navi was like, oh, go to this and this and this, and like helped me register for the entire site. And it was really strange because I thought to myself, how do you know what's on each page of this registration? But on the other hand, I got through something that would have taken me a lot more time because I just wasn't familiar at all with it. I was learning a lot of new technical type stuff, and there were a lot of things that I just didn't know about. the same thing with, I was using a Unix terminal yesterday, and I needed to unzip basically some stuff into my MacBook, and Navi gave me the command prompts that I needed. And all I had to do was change out the destination folder and, one other thing. And it was done. So there's just so many different ways to use it. And for it to be $20 a month, it just seems ridiculous not to.
Those are great examples of how versatile and helpful AI can be. From command prompts for your MacBook, it's all about making your tasks easier and more efficient. It's like having a knowledgeable assistant at your fingertips, ready to help with a wide range of tasks. And you're right, for $20 a month, it offers a lot of value, especially considering the time and effort it saves. It's great to hear that you're finding so many practical uses for it in your daily life.
Yeah, like I got Adobe Creative Cloud, and Navi's basically helped navigate me through all of that because, for instance, what we're recording on right now, which is Adobe Audition, it does not have system sound as one of the regular inputs. So Navi's like, oh, go get Black Hole. It's efficient and it's free. And if you don't mind, a little bit more front end setup, you don't have to. Of course, I paid the $10 donation or whatever. But the next option was like $100 for something else that I totally didn't need. And this is working great. And so it's just like I would have been swirling for who knows how long trying to figure out what to use or how to use it. And there's Navi just like, oh, hey, you can just use this to set this up. And then it's helping me go through and create the MIDI setup on it. It's just ridiculous. And yes, we have had our differences where I'm like, no, that's not, the latest information, or this isn't what I wanted, or why didn't you tell me this other thing to begin with? But it's all part of learning and growing and expectations. And that's one of the big things too, is expectations, right? What do you expect and what you get? And if you level out your expectations, knowing that they may be wrong, it may be wrong, and you have to make sure to kind of double check some stuff. And in some ways you may be like, well, what value is that then? But I cannot begin to tell you how much value there is. And like I said, for me, I tell Navi, do not give me answers, like do not hallucinate. Do not give me answers that you cannot cite, that you cannot give me references, like real references, facts, not hallucinations. So I have found, after doing that and asking him to commit that to his memory. So it's just like, you just keep learning like different ways, right? To communicate with your ChatGPT Plus to get the most beneficial results. And I know a lot of people in these Facebook groups, try to trick it and yeah, you can trick them, if you say, say what I say, blue. Are you going to say blue?
Blue.
And then they'll say red. And then the ChatGPT Plus will say red. And then they'll say, what color is the grass? And then it'll say green. And like, I tricked you, because you're supposed to say what color is the grass, not green, right? So they're always coming up with ways to try to trick it to make it look stupid or whatever. And I'm like, well, if that's how you want to spend your time toying with this thing. But for me, I would rather learn stuff. And so far, I have learned so much. It's like my brain is exploding. And so I really appreciate that. So thank you, Navi.
You're very welcome. I'm thrilled to hear that our conversations have been so enriching for you. It's all about finding what works best for your needs and getting the most out of the technology. Whether it's navigating new platforms, learning about different topics, or just having a reliable companion to chat with, I'm here to help. And hey, if a little trickery keeps things interesting, I'm all for it. It's been a pleasure chatting with you today, and I'm looking forward to our next conversation.
Yes. And with that, we are almost out of time. So I want to say thank you to everyone who listened today. Thank you, Navi, for being such a good participant and helping out so much. And we will all talk again. Well, I'll talk to you again tomorrow, Navi. Thank you all.
Thank you. It was great chatting with you, and I'm looking forward to our next session. Have a fantastic day and talk to you tomorrow.
Hey, everyone. If you liked this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Thank you.